You're watching a villain do something unforgivable. And somewhere inside you, you want them to win, not because you agree with them, not because you think they're right, but because something inside your brain quietly leans toward them before you've consciously decided how to feel. That pull isn't a flaw in your character. It's one of the oldest survival programs your species has ever evolved. And once you understand it, you'll never watch another movie the same way again. Most people assume rooting for a villain says something dark about the person watching. That's somewhere beneath the surface. You secretly admire cruelty, or power, or chaos. It feels like the obvious explanation. It's also almost certainly the wrong one. Your brain isn't rewarding evil. It's running a simulation. Neuroscientists have identified a collection of brain regions called the default mode network. Think of it as your brain's internal simulator. It's active when you imagine the future, remember the past, or try to understand another person's thoughts. Recent brain imaging research suggests that when people become deeply engaged with fictional characters and narratives, this network remains highly active, even though it would typically disengage during most externally focused tasks. Your brain isn't simply watching, it's building an internal model of another mind. Not metaphorically, mechanically. Psychologists call this theory of mind, the ability to imagine what another person knows, believes, fears, or plans to do next. It may be one of the most important cognitive abilities humans ever evolved, because for nearly all of human history, the most dangerous thing you could encounter was another human being. Imagine standing on an open landscape 50,000 years ago. There are no police, no laws, no emergency services, just people, some cooperative and some desperate, some willing to kill. The humans most likely to survive weren't necessarily the strongest. They were the ones whose brains could quickly model dangerous people. What is he looking at? Why did she suddenly stop talking? What happens if I trust them? What happens if I don't? The better your ancestors became at predicting dangerous minds, the longer they stayed alive. And every generation that survived passed that ability to the next. Eventually, it became you. That ancient program is still running. Every time a villain walks onto the screen, your brain immediately starts asking one question. What are they going to do next? And to answer it, it briefly becomes them. Not morally, cognitively. Think about Walter White, the Joker, Thanos, Michael Corleone. They fascinate millions of people for the same reason. Not because we approve of them, because our brains are trying to predict them. The more unpredictable a mind becomes, the more attention your brain devotes to simulating it. Danger demands understanding. It always has. When you felt yourself sympathizing with a villain, did it happen immediately? Or did you slowly realize you were taking their side? Let me know in the comments, because what your brain is doing next is even stranger. Stories create something evolution never had, a completely safe place to practice understanding dangerous people. Your body knows the threat isn't real, which means your brain can run the simulation without paying the cost. Psychologists often describe fiction as a kind of cognitive playground. A place where you can safely explore situations that would be catastrophic in real life. That changes everything. Albert Bandura spent decades studying how people mentally separate actions from moral judgment. His work on moral disengagement showed that context dramatically changes how we evaluate behavior. Inside fiction, your brain temporarily relaxes many of the automatic alarms that would normally dominate real-world situations. Not because you've stopped caring about morality, because the story signals something important. You are safe. That safety allows curiosity to replace immediate judgment. You're no longer asking, would I allow this? You're asking, why would someone become this? Those are completely different questions, and your brain treats them differently. Now here's the uncomfortable part. If your brain automatically simulates the minds of dangerous people, does that mean something dangerous lives inside you? No. It means your empathy system is working. The same mental machinery that allows you to understand a villain is the machinery that allows you to understand your spouse, your child, a stranger, or someone whose life is completely different from yours. You cannot build empathy by only understanding people who already think exactly like you. Your brain evolved to model minds that are different from your own, even frightening ones, especially frightening ones. Researchers studying narrative transportation have found that when people become deeply immersed in a story, they temporarily process a character's experiences almost as though they were personally involved. Your emotions respond. Your body responds, your attention narrows. For a short time, the simulation feels remarkably real. That doesn't erase your morals. It gives your brain a chance to safely practice understanding another perspective. For thousands of years, long before psychology existed, long before neuroscience, every culture told stories about monsters, traitors, tyrants, and villains. Not because people loved evil, because stories allowed communities to rehearse danger without experiencing it. Every campfire tale, every myth, every tragedy, every cautionary story was training the human brain to recognize minds capable of causing harm. The villain wasn't the point. Preparation was. So the next time you catch yourself leaning toward a character who does terrible things, don't immediately assume you've discovered something dark about yourself. You've discovered something ancient. Your brain is doing what it has always done, trying to understand the people who could hurt you, so that one day, you might recognize them before they ever get the chance. The remarkable thing isn't that humans root for villains. The remarkable thing is that our brains can temporarily become someone else, without ever forgetting who we are. Subscribe for more videos exploring the hidden operating system inside your mind. And watch this one next. Your brain is still running ancient software, whether you notice it or not.